Greetings, this is the man who pretends to be Charles Darwin, and this is the fourth in a series of videos that I've produced just walking down a few hundred feet of forest trail near Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I just finished the video about Phytolacca americana, the pokeweed, which looks so delicious, but don't eat it because its leaves are full of oxalic acid crystals. Well, this plant looks pretty gnarly, doesn't it? This is Smilax bonanox. And it is one of the greenbriars. It's related to lilies. And so you might think, well, it's got to be dangerous to eat too. But in this particular case, that is not true. This plant is quite edible, and I'm going to eat some of it now for you. You see, here is the young growing tip, and this is in the month of May. Later on, it's going to be hard and bitter, and you wouldn't want to eat it, but here in the early spring, it is quite delicious and edible, and it tastes like asparagus, to which it is, incidentally, related. So here I'm going to go. That's actually quite delicious. I'm famous in my classes for eating greenbriar sprigs in the spring. So I don't have much more to say about this other than that you have to know what you're doing when you want to eat something in the natural world. You can't just start treating the whole world like it's a salad bowl, because evolution has given plants the ability to defend themselves from herbivores. And they do that in different ways. For instance, this particular plant also has thorns on it, and so it's difficult to eat the whole plant. Although, as in any other characteristic, thorns have multiple uses. They don't just protect the plant, they also allow the plant to grow over other plants. It's a vine, and so it's able to climb on tree trunks and climb over bushes and even other herbaceous plants in order to reach the sun without having to invest in expensive wood. And so plants protect themselves many different ways. One of those ways is poisons. And pokeweed uses poisons very effectively. This plant uses bitter taste later in the year, but in the early spring it does not. Now, how do you figure things out like this? Well, what the pioneers might have done is they might have just eaten a little bit and then find out if they got sick. But it's more likely that the Native Americans, when they first came here thousands of years ago, it was a new environment for them too, and they had to figure out how to survive in the new environment. And so they ate little bits. They did experiments. They would eat a little bit and see what happens. And then if nothing happened, they would eat more of it. And finally, they would figure out, these are good spring foods, but they're not so good in the summer. Native Americans, in populating the North American continent, actually did a lot of scientific research, even though we don't recognize it as such today. Well, this is the man who pretends to be Charles Darwin, signing out. Tally ho and amen.